Hello, my beautiful little pumpkins, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be channeling messages from your guides, from my guides, from your angels. Sometimes ancestors come in as well. And we're going to be seeing what messages they have for you, what is urgent that they want you to hear right now. And for those of you that know how pick a cards work, this is pile 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And we're actually going to be doing a little bit of shuffling today. So I'm really excited because I don't normally shuffle on the channel, but I thought we would just try something a little different today. So those are the cards that are going to correspond in to those different sections. So just go ahead and head to the timestamps if you want to. If you need a little bit of help choosing, I know a lot of you say that you prefer when I do candles because it helps you choose a little bit better. Today, I'm going to ask that you just trust your intuition on this one and know that you are never going to choose wrong. Some people like to choose more than one pile. Some people choose all the piles, listen to the whole video, and then choose after the fact. I think it is all up to you and your own intuition and to some degree your own interpretation. I'm going to obviously give you the channeled messages, but it is up to you to kind of look into yourself and see how those things apply. So is there anything else I want to cover? The last thing I want to say before we jump in is please know that I am not in control of your destiny. These cards don't control your destiny. You get to control that. And these cards are here and I am here to help guide you as well as your guides and anything that I channel in. It is all here for divine guidance and assistance. And you get to decide what to do with that information. So anyways, we're going to get into this really chill vibe. I've even got coffee with me today, so we're going to be real low-key, real chill, and I'm going to give you some time to meditate with these cards with just the music for about 30 seconds, and then we'll jump into the first pile. All right, pile number 1, you are up. We're going to go ahead and get a little sip of this coffee in first. I brewed a vanilla cup today. I feel it tastes real good, feels real good too. But we're going to go ahead and start off with the Moonchild Tarot, and I will link all the decks that I'm using today down below. I think what got me thinking about this, honestly, and I didn't take offense to it, I was just like, maybe I should show the process sometimes. What got me thinking about this is I had received a comment on one of my recent videos that somebody was like, you say that you don't look at the cards before you deal them out, but they were basically saying they find that hard to believe. And I was like, you know what? Let's just shuffle on camera, one take. And so yeah, also I think it's good that you kind of see how the process goes. So we're going to go ahead and see. All right, so we have the 9 of Cups for you, pile number 1. Yes, we love to see that. We have the 8 of Cups as well. All right, interesting. A vibe. We have Divine Wisdom. We'll have to look that card up because that's specific to this deck. And we also have the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so pile number 1, what I'm really hearing for you right off the bat is that maybe there has been a little bit of financial struggle going on recently, or you feel like you've maybe lost something specific. It could also be like a relationship, something I feel like has maybe been lost, but your spirit guides want you to know that this is actually something that's going to set you on a new course. Like, this is a good thing, that whatever has been lost has been I don't even want to say lost because, girl, you're not trying to find it again, okay? This is something that maybe feels like it has been taken away from you, but it was taken away with purpose. And I say that because we also have the Eight of Cups. Some of you maybe willingly did this because the Eight of Cups is really about leaving things behind and kind of deciding that we want to go on a new path, a new adventure. We're evaluating our life and what we really think. I mean, we even have on this card, look at how beautiful this imagery is. Can we just for a moment? But we even have on this card, it looks like the moon is back here, and I'm not actually sure what planet this is supposed to be. If I'm honest, it looks like it's maybe Saturn, but I think that's a star here, not a ring. So I'm not actually sure. I would definitely have to look at the descriptor for that one just to understand that imagery better. And I apologize. This is a new deck to the channel, so there might be, as I'm still learning, there might be some miscommunication on some of the imagery, but know that I honestly don't even need cards to read. I am a direct channel. The cards are really there to kind of help give you more of a visual representation. So with the Eight of Cups, though, I also want you to notice that we have this like beautiful waterfall. We have all this beautiful kind of like red peachy tone rock going on. So I'm hearing that some of you specifically, you might be wanting to go on a hike. You might be needing to plan a trip more out in nature because we are nature cyclically. We as humans are nature as well. I know that a lot of us think that like nature is just like this outside thing, but we are also cyclical in the same way. And I know that as we've like built societies and civilizations, and though those things can be beneficial, they also really strip us away from being more cyclical. So I feel like the Eight of Cups is really a lot about going on that journey to kind of discover yourself and your true passion. Now, I love having this Nine of Cups here because, just having the Eight of Cups and the Five of Pentacles together alone would honestly be more like, I don't want to say catastrophe energy, but it would very much resemble this like big hurt of loss. But because we have the Nine of Cups, I feel like whatever this is, it's been a relief. It's a release, it's a relief. And because of this, you're getting this new ability to kind of channel your own energy and maybe even heal a lot of past hurts. And we're going to go ahead and actually pull the book on this Divine Wisdom card because I have never seen this before. And I want to make sure that, I'm giving you the full scope here. So Divine Wisdom, we have actually, let's just look at the keywords. We have Akashic, Awakening, Higher Self, Unity, and Expansion. I'm not actually going to go through and read everything, but so that's really what this is more about, is also discovering yourself deeper. So whatever has kind of happened outright, it is for this deeper level of expansion for you. And that's why I said, I feel like this is actually a really big blessing. So it could have come in the form of a job loss. It could have come in the form of a relationship, a breakup, something to that regard. It could have come with like a big loss for you, but ultimately it's going to connect you deeper with yourself, your purpose, and maybe even opening you up to be a divine channel to this divine wisdom. It's wisdom. To me, divine wisdom is something that you already know. You just haven't uncovered it in this lifetime yet, if that makes sense. So just keep your eyes really open. Your eyes, all of them, the third one included, keep them really open and allow yourself to expand on this path. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next deck here. So we are using the Lumen Oracle. We're just going to get a few of these cards out and take a look. So let's see what we have for you, and definitely let me know down below if you like the shuffling or if you don't like it. I really want to hear, because I've heard from others that like sometimes you do like the shuffling, so let me know if you enjoy that on the channel or not. All right, so we got love. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. And we also have for you the revolutionary. Oh my gosh. Look at the colors on these cards too. So beautiful. Like, can we just appreciate for a moment? Oh, so gorgeous. All right, so with love and the revolutionary, what this really says to me is number one, because we pulled love out over here on this side of like loss, but also for your betterment. I almost feel like some of you, when I said breakup, that really hit home. Like you feel like you lost some form of love. Now, this also could be in family. Maybe some of you are also going through some like family difficulty. You've really disconnected from family. But ultimately, this is actually giving you heart expansion because love, if you didn't know, love is truly the highest vibrational frequency that we as humans can attune our own energy to. So love really is the everything. I mean, I think it was Kaylin Nicholson this week in one of her Co's videos was talking about, and I fully support this idea. She was talking about the idea that basically your heart chakra, if we talk about our 7 energy centers, which we technically have more chakras than the 7, but the ones that most people know of are just those 7 on the meridian. But when we talk about the heart chakra, it's the connector of the upper and lower chakras. It's the one that really helps us balance out everything. And the heart chakra is where our love comes in. Also, I apologize if you can hear that. My neighbor's dogs are barking. They're agreeing with me that love really is where that divine center is that helps us to, it helps us to have those beautiful connections, to meet people that are like the people that connect with us on a soul level. And something else that I'm really hearing from spirit for some of you, this is so interesting to me. So on this card, I don't know how well you can see it because it's gold plating or gold foiling, but we have hands being depicted here on the base. And then if you look here, we also have on the 9 of Cups, this woman who has her hands kind of out like this. I feel like some of you, there's potential that you might even be like Reiki healers or energy healers, and you're being asked to really tap into that because it's actually, it gives you the ability to like move and manipulate energy and even heal your own energy as well as heal and release other people's energy. So definitely look into that if that is resonating with you. This may be something that you already know as well. And with the revolutionary, this is like you are not meant to follow the norm. This is why I feel like the 8 of Cups is so important for your reading next to divine wisdom. Is the 8 of Cups really is going off on your own, going off to do like soul development, soul work, getting into yourself more, and having divine wisdom that doesn't necessarily match up with today's society and what is being put out there. So the revolutionary comes in and basically, like, it's exactly what it says, starts a revolution, a new revolution of thought-provoking ideas. And I feel like this very much is your energy. Now, some of you I feel like are maybe thinking like, but Kloee, I'm not a leader. I'm not here to lead. And I've got a couple things to say to that. Number one, I think it doesn't matter who you are. You know if you're called to be a leader. You can feel it. And it might come in slowly or over time and as you learn this divine wisdom and remember who the hell you actually are. But the second thing is there are some people that are not meant to be leaders, that are meant to help hold up a leader. Now, I don't mean that in the sense that we need to idolize, put other people above. It doesn't work like that. It's that sometimes there is somebody that is a thought leader that you really agree with, and it's part of your soul mission to support them carry through that mission because they have different skill sets and different attributes that you yourself don't harbor, but your gifts are just as important even as the person that is like the head of something. Does that make sense? So for some of you, that's a big message that's coming through as well, that maybe you are somebody that is supposed to come in and help support with the beautiful divine wisdom that you have. So we're going to go ahead and get some astrology cards out here and see what is going on with the Astros for you. All right, so we have for you quincunx, which is complexity for sure, irritants, puzzles, mystifies, complicates, contradicts, clashes, misses the mark, requires translation, adjusts, makes curious, educates, and transforms. Beautiful. We also have for you semi-sextile, which is allowing. It says encourages, sees the potential and clarifies, gives hope to, compensates, intuits, tempers, responds, cycles, grows, realizes, and rewards. And then we also have Mercury. Love a Mercury dominant. Which is words, thoughts, analysis, information, learning, trade, ideas. Sorry, I'm trying to read from a distance and your girl wears glasses. Smarts, reporting, awareness, vision, lens, palette, perception, curiosity, narrative, muse, and wander. So I feel like ultimately with these 3 astrology cards, I think it's interesting that you didn't get any major astrology. Like these, don't get me wrong, they're all important, but you didn't get like Leo or like a big planet. Well, you did get Mercury, so you did get a big planet, but like there's a lot more of the like underbelly stuff going on, the like things that help describe the maybe more well-known things. So I find this so interesting that like maybe that's something that you feel like you fall into. You're somebody that you're so off, like you don't really fall into any one group, and you're someone that kind of questions and is more curious about everything. And I love that for you. I think that's beautiful. We need people like you. But with quincunx, I feel like you maybe are someone, especially because we have the revolutionary, you are someone that is here to kind of provoke and irritate. And I don't say that because like you're an annoyance. No, I say that with love and with like, gosh, I feel like when people say that, like I say it with love, that just like makes something terrible okay. No. Please don't take it that way. But what I mean by that is like, if we don't have people questioning the stuff that people don't normally question, we don't discover anything new. So we need you to question, especially with Mercury. I feel like this is a lot about questions, but you're also somebody that makes allowance for the complexities of life. And maybe that's the divine wisdom that you're coming into. Maybe you've kind of always thought that life is supposed to be one way, and you're actually opening yourself up to like, oh, there's an infinite amount of possibility. I can allow for anything. I feel like as we move more and more deeper and deeper into Aquarius, or Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, which is going on right now if you're watching this when the video is brand new, and it will be going on for the next like year plus. This is to me a big transit that is more about authenticity and allowance of things that are different. It's a lot about humanity. So I do feel like you're somebody that you allow for more complexity, and you're also somebody that is probably a really excellent communicator. Spirit wants you to know that you have mercurial gifts, meaning Mercury is about writing, speaking, questioning. So this is going to be like journalism, book writing, public speaking, anything that you are going to be using your voice and your truth in a way that is going to put it out there more, especially when it comes to speaking and writing. You have those gifts. So those of you that have been doubting yourselves, Spirit is really here to tell you today that like, no, please put those gifts into practice. You have them. You got to stop being so hard on yourself, because there are people that need to hear what you have to say, because you are somebody that allows for complexity. We need more people like you in the world that do that. So, and sorry, other message, one more coming through before we move on. Spirit is also telling me right now that like, I feel like that's something that you are afraid of. You're afraid of like, oh, I feel like I'm not attached to any one thing. I don't have one truth that I stand for. And you feel like you're like on really shaky ground because you don't have a thing, or like something that you've devoted your life to, or a cause, because you make room for everybody's argument. But honestly, being able to do that is such a divine gift that many people do not possess. It's why we have so much divide in humanity. Think about all the ways that we divide ourselves. You are somebody that makes room for the complexity of that division. And I do believe that that takes someone special to hold that and to do that and to face it, because it can be scary, especially when we're faced with anger or contempt or, what have you. So just be easy on yourself and know that you have these gifts. Now, we're also going to pull a couple of crystal cards for you. Just a couple of like extra little, these might be crystals that you want to put closer to you that Spirit wants you to be aware of, something to that regard. We're just going to go ahead and take a look-see. All right. You got Amazonite, loosen your grip. So maybe you're someone that also really focuses on control of all situations. And Spirit is saying, loosen up a little. And not like, I feel like when we say loosen up, people take that honestly as an offense of like, ugh, I am loose. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. But it's not about just loosening up in social situations. It's loosening up on yourself, loosening your grip on how things are supposed to be, letting yourself feel and go through what you're going through to gain more knowledge. And then we also have for you Rainbow Obsidian, heal your heart. So how funny, because you got love as well. So love and heal your heart. This is when I say, like, I couldn't make this shit up if I tried, because the cards just always fall together so perfectly. So with heal your heart and love, again, there are some of you that I believe are going through a breakup and that's been hard. Some of you also just need to do a little bit more inner child work, I'm hearing, and shadow work, which I feel like inner child work and shadow work can kind of cross over each other. But really working with your heart, because it is the chakra center. That heart center is the one that really helps conduit, is that how you say it? Energy to the other chakras. So really pay attention to how that heart center feels and do a little bit of research. You know, there's also like chakra quizzes you can take to see what is in balance and what isn't. If I can remember the one that I've used, I will link it down below for you. I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at not linking things I mention in readings down below, but I will do my best. But definitely check that out. Work on healing your heart. That is where this is going to kind of all come through for you. And then we're going to go ahead and just pull a few words for you. And that is going to conclude our reading after this pile number 1. We're just going to get some words from Spirit. That Spirit really, what words do you have for us, Spirit? Can you give me some words of maybe affirmation, some words that really would assist in the knowledge that we've gained today? All right. So we'll do 3. We got grow. All flowers must grow through dirt. This is like one of my favorites, I think, in here. I've seen this one a lot in readings. We also got for you rest. Slow down. You don't have to solve everything today. Beautiful card. And then we also got wallflower. Look for the crack in the concrete to find your way out. Ooh, so some of you also might feel like you're stuck in situations that aren't really fulfilling you or making you happy. And Spirit is saying, you know, look for that light. Follow the light. Follow your heart. And if you feel like you can't hear your heart, that should be a key indication that you need to work on that heart center. So that is what I have for you today, pile number 1. I hope this helped you out. I hope it gave you some clarity, some guidance on what's been going on. And may you be blessed on your path. Remember that when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. All the cards are going to be linked down below if you want to get any of these for yourself. And if you would like to support the channel, it's always appreciated, never expected. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. Like I said, never expected, always appreciated. And I also have all my social links. I haven't been posting a ton lately. It's Pisces season for me. So she's been a little bit messy, if I will say so myself. But Pisces in the 4th is not easy. But I do have my social medias. Those are the only 2 that I really work on. And then I also have my podcast, Authentic and Unapologetic, comes out every Tuesday, especially if you're looking for a little more guidance on spiritual wisdom. I definitely dive into a lot of those topics as well as psychology. So definitely take a peek at that. It's available on like 8 different podcast platforms, including Spotify and Apple. And I will speak to you all again in a future reading. I love you so much. Bye. All right, pile number 2. We're going to go ahead and shuffle this Moonchild deck for you and see what we get. We're shuffling today, which I think is kind of fun. I haven't done this on the channel in, I think, since like late November. We did a little bit of shuffling, but we're going to shuffle today. So, and just kind of see what pops out. I decided to do this because recently I received a comment, and I wasn't necessarily trying to prove them wrong or anything. I was just like, you know what? Maybe people need to see more of the process of people saying, like, you say you don't read the cards in advance, but because I don't see you shuffle, like, they're basically alluding that they didn't really believe me. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should show more of the process. So far we have the Queen of Swords for you. We have the Four of Cups. Beautiful. We have the Page of Cups. Interesting. And we also have for you the Emperor. Okay. So right off the bat, what the vibe I'm getting from this for all of y'all pound the twos is with the Emperor and the Queen of Swords, I feel like many of you have maybe been a little bit cold. Or maybe you're somebody that's been in communication with somebody who's a little cold. I don't know why that's the vibe that's coming out, but especially with the Four of Cups in this deck, I just feel like there's this cold, I got like this cold feeling too when I put those down. Excuse me. But with the Queen of Cups and the Emperor, so I feel like the Emperor and the Queen of Swords. Did I say Queen of Cups? I meant to say Swords. The Emperor and the Queen of Swords together, they honestly, the dynamic of them is a lot of like, it's a lot of shouty energy. It's a lot of speaking your truth very deliberately, but sometimes being very overpowering with it, like trying to force your word, or maybe somebody's been trying to force their word on you of like, this is how things need to be done. This is who you should be. This is how you should run your life. And I feel like it's honestly maybe led you to be a little bit more confused because you have different ideas of how you want your life to be. Either that, or maybe you are the person that has been doing that. So I'm really getting the sense that there is like this discontent, like, especially as we head into Pisces season, fam. That's what we're in right now. And with Pisces season, I feel like it's a dreamy mood. And you can't really have, like, it's not made for force. Pisces is all about slowing down, getting dreamy, keeping a dream journal maybe, doing some art, like just doing things that are very like, if I could describe Pisces season, to me, it's like very ethereal and romantic. So I feel like the Page of Cups, however, is right on the money with that. It's a very romantic energy. So I feel like what your guides are really trying to say is like, basically, this could also just be your own thoughts. Maybe you have been kind of going like thought spiraling in your own head of like, this is what you should be doing. This is how you should behave. You're not like, I feel like this is like, honestly, just, it's not nice. Like whatever this is that's going on over here, it's not nice. Like it's you either having your own negative self-talk, somebody actually talking and speaking negatively to you. And I'm honestly getting like, I'm just going to say it. I'm getting like a very like toxic masculinity vibe. And that doesn't mean that it has to be like a male dominant figure in your life. It's just the energy, like that, like very toxic, overbearing, and I believe that we have the potential to have toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. They both exist. But I feel like it's like this very overbearing weight that you're carrying, and it's causing you to really need to get back into meditation and contemplation. So what Spirit is really saying to me is that it's time for you to breathe out. It's time for you to really sit with these thoughts and follow them down the rabbit hole and ask yourself, where is this thought coming from? Is this something that I actually believe about myself, or is this something that somebody else gave to me? Is this something that is useful in my life? Is this something that's helping me grow? Because I do believe like sometimes when we push ourselves, it can be a good thing, right? It doesn't have to always be so negative. But I feel like there is a limit. Sometimes we push ourselves way too hard. And fam, I am a Virgo in the 10th house. I know all about pushing myself too hard. I actually talked about that on the podcast that went out today. So if you're not listening to my podcast, link for that down below, available on 8 platforms. Shameless self-plug. But like pushing yourself too hard, and Spirit is really saying romanticize your life. Like literally, when you wake up in the morning, how can you make your life more romantic? How can you, and I don't mean like with your partner, like you can do that. Don't get me wrong. It's never a bad thing. But Spirit is really asking, like, how can you make your life more, like, how can you make the simplest tasks more beautiful? Can you put your food on your plate in a more eloquent way, especially during Pisces season? Can you write poetry to express your feelings in your journal instead of just jotting down feelings? Can you take time to, like, in the morning, instead of wearing your pajamas to work, if you are blessed enough to be working from home right now, like, can you get dressed up and like really romanticize yourself before showing up to work? If you're able to do that, Spirit is really saying it's time for you to romanticize your life, because in order to bring about the changes that I feel like you might be looking for, pile number 2, Spirit says you really need to act like you are in that vibration right now. And granted, we know it's difficult, okay? We know it's hard. Oh my gosh, I am literally directly channeling right now. Sorry, that was so weird. That happens sometimes, and I hate it when I recognize it, because then I almost feel like it goes away. But I literally, like, that was like a direct, like, we. Anyways, carrying on. I hope that will come back. But we know it's hard. Like, we know that it's not easy to show up every day, especially when you feel like there is this state of lack of you missing something in your life right now. It can be hard to not have like the financial needs that you're looking for, or maybe you see yourself in like a certain type of home and you live in a studio right now. We know that that's really difficult to do those things, to actually see yourself there when you're not physically there, or to spend money in a certain way when you frankly just don't have it yet. We know that that's really difficult, but what are the things that you can take control of right now? What are the things that you are able to pull into your life in this very moment that maybe you already have access to? Do you have a nice plate that you can pull out that maybe it's normally a special occasion plate, but you can just use it on the daily? Do you have, maybe there's like date night lipstick or something. These are just silly examples, but maybe you have like date night lipstick, or you only pull this out when you're going to the club normally. Pull it out today. For whatever reason, romanticize it now. Go pick yourself some wildflowers and put them together if you're able. I mean, I know for many of us, we have literally just gone through a snowstorm from hell and there are no wildflowers to go pick. But, if you are able, if weather permits for you and that is something you can do, don't be afraid to do the romanticizing now. Take your time making your morning coffee. Take your time drinking your water. Be present when you're eating, and especially when you're meditating. Spirit is really saying that is going to help you to kind of overcome what's going on here. So let's go ahead and pull from our Lumen Oracle. And I said that was weird that I was directly channeling, is normally I don't always refer to myself as like a we. And I do channel things in, but that was like direct speech channeling. I don't know if I've ever done that before. Not like that, not in the middle of a reading. That was very cool. I'm so happy y'all got to witness that. I hope that there's more of that in the future. That's how you know, by the way, pile number 2, I feel like that came out for a reason. That's how you know that you are in the divine calling that you're supposed to be in, is when like those occurrences, things like that, where you just feel so like right at home, that like experiences like that start to happen. It's how I know I'm supposed to be here. So we have for you the creator and soul work. So with the creator, this is Spirit just reminding you that you are the soul creator and co-creator of your reality. Whatever is reflecting inward is what is reflecting out. And it's very paradoxical at times, because it's like, maybe you really want someone, and Aaron Dowdy talks about this a lot, but like you want someone to compliment your shirt because it's brand new or something. And this is just an example. You want someone to compliment the new shirt that you got, but by wanting it, you drive it away from you. The moment you stop wanting people to comment is when they start commenting and complimenting constantly. It's very paradoxical. It's like you almost kind of have to see it, desire it, want it, and then let it go because you are the master creator. This is a beautiful card. This to me is very equivalent to the magician card in normal tarot and not in just like an oracle. It's very similar to like you being the master creator and having everything at your fingertips to make it happen. And with soul work, this to me is really saying like that's what needs to be healed here. If you have negative self-talk or you're surrounded by somebody that does that to you, this is a big call to really working on your own soul work, your own soul growth, your own ability to tap into yourself inwardly and really heal what's happening. It's really funny because I feel like pile number 1 talked about this a little bit too. I always like to tell you all when things come up in other piles because sometimes those piles are linked and you may want to watch both, but your call, if you felt called to like 1 and 2, it's a good indication that you probably should go watch 1 as well. But with soul work, this is, again, it's about really getting in touch with your soul, with your inner self that kind of knows better than these things. So pay attention to how you're feeling and how things feel in your body. We're going to go ahead and move into some astrology cards for you, pile number 2, and just kind of see what's coming up. All right. We got the 12th house. Ooh, interesting. We got Mars. And we got Neptune. Very, very interesting. So let's kind of scoot these out a little so we can make some room. So with the 12th house is the house of Pisces, which is so funny because if you're watching this when it's going live, we are in Pisces season. Pisces season just started. And like I said, again, I think in pile number 1, Pisces season for your girl that is reading here is rough. I have even reflected on like past journal entries for myself when I wasn't as aware of astrology like years and years and years ago. Pisces season, always rough for your girl. And ultimately, it's because I have Pisces in the 4th house, I believe, and that's all about like family and stuff. But with the 12th house coming out, if you have a lot of 12th house in your chart, in your birth chart, it's a strong indication of being a healer. Just putting that out there. You might be somebody that is a healer. When we have the 12th house, this is also a symbol of needing to surrender and heal. Now, we also have Mars, which is action, and Neptune, which is about dreams. So, gosh, this is like, if y'all picked pile number 2, really consider starting a dream journal and a manifestation journal, like maybe make them one journal, because I feel like our dreams, you can go to like dream interpreters, and I really believe this. I'll probably make a podcast episode on it soon. You can go to like an interpreter, and I'm not saying that that's not 100% valid because it is, but you can also interpret your own dreams. I personally believe that your dreams are messages from your subconscious. And I believe your subconscious and your higher self always kind of know. They see the bigger picture before you do. And even though it is you, for this, we're kind of calling it a they. But really, I feel like there's this energy of like needing to kind of surrender to where you are and follow more into your subconscious. Pay attention to those dreams because they're going to kind of unlock more of the bigger picture and that soul work for you. Now, we also have Mars action, which I think is so funny that we have this right in the middle of these two, because these to me are very inactive cards, but then you have Mars, which is all about action and movement. So I also feel that as you kind of work your way through these, you're going to be called to action. You're going to be called to make moves in your life that maybe you'd never really considered prior to this. So honestly, I think this is going to be an exciting journey for you. I think you're going to get into some new things, especially within like the next month. Now, these readings are timeless, so whenever you see this was the time you were meant to. But I think within the next month or so, if you actually put these things into practice, meditating, romanticizing your life, surrendering the things that are a bit more difficult, and paying attention to your dreams, you're going to find something that's going to be a call to action for yourself that is going to really help you transform your life into something that's more in line with the grander vision you have for your life. So we're also going to pull some crystal cards for you and see what is going on there. Let's see what we've got. All right, so we have a turquoise. Prioritize your health. Love it. We'll talk about it. And then we have pink opal. Be kind to yourself. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Okay. With turquoise, prioritize your health. Turquoise is that stone, that crystal that really helps you, especially if you're going on any kind of like health journey. If it's like working out more, nourishing your body more. Some of you I'm hearing do want to do more things with like weight loss or weight gain. And with that, Spirit is saying, call in some turquoise into your life. That is going to be a crystal stone that is really going to be valuable to helping you on that path. And pink opal with be kind to yourself. This to me really draws back up to this negative self-talk or having somebody in your life that has really been negatively impacting you. Remember to be kind to yourself, because when you vibrate at your highest frequency, you're able to vibrate outward and raise the vibration of the collective. It's a very beautiful thing, honestly. And I think, especially with soul work, I didn't mention that. With this bee being depicted, when we think about bees and like the hive mind, it is important that you do your own soul work. You be kinder to yourself and work through this so that you can help yourself as well as the collective. And prioritizing your own health, I feel like maybe some of you, as I've been reading this, some of you maybe have been dealing with like pains or aches in certain parts of your body. Really pay attention to those, because oftentimes they will connect to a certain part of the chakra system. And that is a huge indicator that you've got an imbalanced chakra and to work with it. If y'all want more information on chakras, let me know. I'm considering doing a podcast episode on them because I just really love working with my own chakras, and I've noticed in my own life when I experience certain things, I notice that there's usually a chakra correspondence that I can work on. So next we have just a few little cards, little words of wisdom from Spirit here for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just get 3 of these out for you, see what Spirit has for you. Spirits, give us a few key indicators, key words for pile number 2. Give us just a few words of wisdom to kind of close out this reading. So we got serenity. Oh my gosh, right over surrender too. Value quiet days with only the rustling leaves breaking the silence. So some of you might even feel very called to take a silent day if you're able to. Now, granted, I know that's not a possibility for everyone. Sometimes some of you need your voice for certain things, but if you're able to literally take a silent day, like tell the other people in your house, hey, I'm taking a silent day just for like self-reflection. This can be a really beautiful practice of just like not speaking for the day, just to kind of see how you feel internally. Because so often we will just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And for some of us, that's very healing. Like for myself, I'm an Aries Mercury and a Gemini moon. I feel like when I talk, I heal myself, especially if I'm talking to myself, which I absolutely do. I think a lot more people do that than we think. But, try taking a silent day if you're able to. And then we also have joy. Make time for little things today. So this, I feel like make time for little things, especially in terms of like surrendering, meditation, dream journaling, prioritizing your health, being kinder to yourself, and also being the creator of your life. I'm really getting the sense that like you need to start a small ritual of just like, Spirit is really saying to me, starting a ritual of like a morning routine that's like a 5-minute thing. Like maybe you do a 1-minute meditation. That's it in the morning. 1 minute of meditation and like deep breaths for a minute. And then moving into an 8-ounce glass of water, moving into a couple of affirmations, just a 5-minute, really quick, but doing something really small and knowing that that will increase the joy in your life. And then we also have potential. The littlest key can open the heaviest door. So Spirit wants you to know in closing that you have so much potential. And Spirit is not here to tell you like, don't waste that potential or like it's no. We're not going down that line. We're just saying that you have so much potential to have whatever it is that you desire, whatever lifestyle you want to have, whatever job you want to work in, whatever. And I say job, but it doesn't even have to be a job. Maybe some of you genuinely don't want to work. And I know that there are going to be plenty of people that are going to disagree with that statement because our society is so built on the working world. But know that like that's something you can actualize. There is nothing that you cannot accomplish with just getting back into yourself, really. You have so much potential, and get out there and use it. Be that creator. Ask yourself, what are some key things that you want to bring into your life, especially as we head into Aries season next month. Aries to me really is the quote unquote new year. I know we have the new year in January, at least in America. That's typically what is celebrated. Not everyone, but to me personally, I believe that Aries season is really the new year because it's the zodiac new year. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So really get clear on that. Get clear on what you want to bring in and know that you have a limitless amount of potential. Spirit really wants me to clarify that to you. So I hope this reading assisted you today. I love you so much. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. All the cards that you see here today are linked down below for you. And if you feel called to do so, you want to support the channel, I certainly appreciate it. Never expected, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. Again, I never expect that from you, but I certainly always do appreciate those of you that do. And I also have my Twitter and my not Twitter, I'm sorry, I don't do Twitter. My Instagram, my TikTok are listed down below for you, and my podcast. So be sure to check out all of the links in the description, and I will speak to you all again very soon. I love you so much. Bye. All right, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. We're doing a bit of shuffling today. I recently received a comment and I was like, you know what? I should show more of the process sometimes. So let me know if you like shuffling or not down below. I'd be really curious to hear what the general consensus is. But I received a comment that somebody was like, you say that you don't look at the cards before you read them, but they were basically insinuating that they find that hard to believe because of how perfectly they line up. And I'm not trying to sit here and prove that person wrong. I honestly don't care what people think, but it made me think like, maybe I should show more of the process sometimes of how I do this. So, we're just going to do a bit of shuffling today and see what comes up. So pile number 3 for you, we have the 8 of Wands. We have the 7 of Wands, very interesting. We have the 5 of Cups. And we have the 3 of Pentacles. So, and also I apologize if the lighting's a little strange. Would I be a YouTuber if I wasn't apologizing for lighting? It's getting kind of dark here, and I still have this pile and 2 more after, so I had to make it a little brighter in here with non-natural light. But basically, what I am really getting from these first 4 cards is that many of you are very focused on a lot of the hurt or the upset that maybe has gone on in your life. And this could be like a long extended period, something that's maybe short term. It really depends. I'm getting like mixed signals here in terms of channeling and what Spirit is saying to me. Some of you, I feel like it's a very short term thing. Some of you, it's like lifelong. You're very like... I hesitate to say these things, but Spirit said, you know what, go for it. When I see a Five of Cups, this is very much about victim mentality. And I'm not here to tell you that that's wrong. I think that everybody, in order to become the survivor of your own story, you have to go through the victimhood. And I'm a big advocate for victimhood. I'm a big, especially being in the realm of depth psychology and learning more about the unconscious and subconscious. I'm a big advocate for leaning into that victimhood so that you can heal and come out as the survivor eventually. So I am feeling, though, that what I'm getting is there's a lot of feeling like a victim to a situation or life, but because we have it paired with the Eight of Wands here, I almost feel like you're missing opportunities that are being thrown directly at you because you're so focused on this thing. Whatever it is, whatever you have lost, it's blinded you from being able to see the good things that are around you. And I do think that this is acceptable for a time. Don't get me wrong, and take all the time that you need. You know, I'm not a pusher, and I'm never going to be that way. I always advocate for taking your time with you, being gentle with yourself, kind to yourself. And so take your time with this process. But the Eight of Wands is really here to tell you that when you're ready, those opportunities that you're wanting or seeking, they're going to show up, but you have to be willing to see them. You have to be willing to step out of that, to become that survivor of your own story. And with the Seven of Wands, I feel like Spirit is really saying the reason that this has happened is you're being kind of forced to feel a lot of things, because with these opportunities, with these good things that are coming into your life, it's going to take a new level of responsibility and Spirit wants you to be prepared for that. So, because, you know, we always say that with great accomplishment comes great responsibility. And so I feel like that's something that really Spirit is saying, like, you kind of have to become that healed person to have those experiences. So if you feel like you've been stuck or in a rut, Spirit is saying you're there for a reason right now. So lean into it instead of trying to judge yourself, shove it down, or pull out of it. Lean full tilt into it, because that's how you're going to find your way out. And with the Three of Pentacles, I feel like this is also support. Spirit wants you to know that you have supportive people around you that could potentially help, that you also have a spirit team that is there to support you. You have divine guidance around you, and you're not going in this alone. You are not alone. You are never alone. And you know, call in your ancestors, ask for divine guidance, ask for a sign. I have a couple of videos on my channel about contacting your spirit guides. And a big person that really helped me get into that more was actually the Gem Goddess here on YouTube. Put out a video on like asking your guides for something and seeing what happens. And just know that, like, if you're ready to kind of embrace that and go into it more, maybe if you haven't, that's an available option for you as well. If you've never made contact with your spirit guides, there are ways to do it. So we also are going to read from the Lumen Oracle. So we're going to get a couple cards out for you, kind of see what we've got. All right. And we have for you Speak Truth. I love it. And we have for you Take Risk. Ooh, I like both of these cards. So let me kind of, because there's gold foiling on these, such beautiful imagery. So with Take Risk and Speak Truth, both of these cards to me are really about you owning who you are. And also on this Take Risk, it looks like there's like a ram. You probably can't see it super well because these cards are foiled, but some of you might be like a Capricorn dominant or have a major Capricorn placement in your chart, and Spirit wants you to pay attention to that. Or if you know a Capricorn, I don't know why that came out so strongly, and maybe you're not, but some of you I definitely think are. But with Speak Truth and Take Risk, this is really about like opening yourself up more and taking the risk. You know, maybe you're afraid to open up because you're going to get your heart broken again, or you're going to get hurt again, or somebody's going to shove you down again. But Spirit is saying, take the risk anyway. way. I mean, even on this Eight of Wands, we have this statue that's glowing from the heart center. It's saying, you know, take a chance, allow yourself to, you know, if you feel ready and safe to do so, allow yourself to take a risk from the heart. And with Speak Truth, the only way you're going to attract your closest, nearest friends, those true, deep soul connections that you really want to make, is by being your most authentic self, by speaking your truth. Because when you give people this masked version of yourself or this dimmed down version of yourself, they're going to be attracted to that energy, but it's not really who you are. So when you speak your truth and take the risk, that's when people will see you for exactly who you are, and you'll attract the right kind of people into your life. The support that you desire will show up because you're acting authentically, and people will realize, oh, they're being their authentic selves, and I'm attracted to that energy. Do you see what I'm saying? So I definitely think as you kind of come out of this, maybe many of you have kind of been in like hermit mode, and it's time to start coming out of it, to start sharing more of your story, sharing more of yourself, and becoming more of a thought leader in your community, in your life, in your families, in your inner circles. And you'll be so surprised at the opportunities that come from this. So Spirit really wants you to know that. And we're also going to pull some astrology cards for you. Oh, girl. Okay. Spirit said we have the fourth house. We have the North Node. Ooh. And then we also have the first house. Okay. This reading is definitely about your destiny, your fate, your path. And I say that because between the first and the fourth house, to me, this is the difference between your roots, where you've come from, and who you are meant to be in this life, and kind of maybe even stepping out of that. It doesn't mean that you like disregard your family and your roots. It can for some of you if you feel like that's kind of kept you trapped, but it just means you need to kind of find your own individuality. And with the North Node, this is you literally following your destiny, your North Star. Everybody has a North Node placement in their astrology charts, and it's not where you're meant to go in life. It's a lot of people that talk about like Rahu and Ketu in astrology as well. I want to say it's the Divine Venus puts it perfectly and so eloquently. She talks about basically bridging your Rahu and Ketu and riding your dragon, because Rahu and Ketu represent the head and the tail of the dragon. And it's like the imagery of the dragon head eating the tail constantly. But if you can find the balance between those two placements, because you have both a North and a South Node, a Rahu and a Ketu, and if you can find the balance between them and quote unquote ride your dragon, that is how you will like step into all of your untapped potential. So I feel like for you, this is going to be about speaking authentically and taking risks and maybe falling away from what was like the norm for you growing up, because the fourth house to me really deals with our family. So many of you are being asked to be like brave, be authentic, and go to bat for yourself, because ultimately it's going to lead you into the path that you are meant to be on. And honestly, it's a beautiful thing. Really, it's a beautiful thing to really embrace your own path, live life on your own terms, make your own rules, and not allow like family to really taint that, or allow society to taint that. Allow yourself to be in full expression and full control of yourself. And I even hesitate to say full control, because I think often when we have too much control, there's not enough ability to grow and change, because we're kind of keeping ourselves in a controlled box. But control to some degree. So I love that. That's gorgeous energy. So we're going to go ahead and get you a couple of crystal cards. I feel like this reading was so clear. I feel like we're burning through it really fast today, but it was just like, these cards were just so, they just so well, they like fell so well together. And I love that. So we're going to get you a couple crystals. This is just going to be maybe some crystals you want to think to carry with you. And there's a couple of like divine words of wisdom that come with them. All right. So we have for you Tiger's Eye, overcoming your fears. And then we also have for you Garnet, ignite your passion. Oh my gosh. Okay. So with Tiger's Eye, overcome your fears. Some of you maybe have a very large fear of speaking your truth because you don't agree with a lot of the things that are said in your inner circles. And you're afraid to kind of speak about how you really feel because you're afraid of abandonment ultimately. And I want you to know that it's so normal to have a fear of abandonment. From a psychological standpoint, and please never take my advice like as I am literally a student of psychology. I'm not a trained professional. So, always, always, always go with a trained professional. Take this for what it is. Take this as human advice to another human. Never take my predictions as something in place of like therapy or medical attention for mental health. So, from a psychological standpoint, when it comes to overcoming our fear and speaking our truth authentically and taking risks, I really feel that there is this like point that a lot of us will kind of hit in our life where it's almost like if you weren't kind of like born into a family that really perpetuated this or like helped you grow it, there can be a point where you become more conscious, where your conscious mind kind of comes more online. But before you get to that point, many of us have this unconscious belief that we are in some way unlovable or we are only worthy of abandonment. And like I said, from a psychological standpoint, I believe personally that everybody as a child experienced some level of abandonment. And for some people, that created actual trauma. And I say that because not everybody had that experience. And it's because maybe their support systems that they had whenever like something created this feeling of abandonment, their support systems might have been stronger than someone else's. And if another person experienced that same trauma but didn't have the support to back it up, this is what creates this trauma that will just run rampant and cause a lot of repeating cycles, cause us to have less emotional regulation and not be able to fully come into our own bodies and be our authentic selves. So I feel like there are a lot of us that really struggle with those abandonment issues. And it doesn't even mean that somebody outright abandoned us to hurt us. It's a lot of times it happens really early in childhood, especially with this fourth house. I want to focus on childhood. A lot of times it will happen early in childhood where we didn't have the tools, the resources, or the mental understanding of why something was happening. It could be as something as you wandered too far away from mom at the grocery store and then couldn't find her. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it can be something very small, but it is something that we carried in the body from that point. So I know that that might sound like something that's like, how could something like that impact me where I am now? But it can. Those things can become stored in the body. So when we talk about overcoming fear, I'm feeling that many of you maybe are struggling with something that happened a long time ago, and you're not really sure why you're feeling upset or what's coming through. But Spirit is really saying the more you start to take risk, safely, of course, the more you start to speak your truth, the more you tap into who you are and follow your true north, you're going to start to overcome fear the more and more and more you practice overcoming fear. And people ask me all the time, Kloee, how do you read tarot cards online? I'm so scared. I want to read, but I'm so scared. And ultimately, I was once really scared too. This is just an example. I was once really scared too. My first several readings, I was terrified that people were going to come and like cancel me for doing it wrong or saying it wrong. And ultimately, what I have learned throughout the process is nobody reads exactly like me. Nobody reads exactly like the Gem Goddess. Nobody reads exactly like Stargirl, the Practical Witch. Nobody reads exactly like Vanessa Samina. These are people that I think are absolutely wonderful tarot card readers. Nobody reads exactly like them. And that's what makes them unique. That's why some people are attracted to different readers' energy. And I'm saying that to you because I used to be somebody that was so terrified to use my voice, to take risks, to do something different. And the moment I started to face that fear over and over and over and over, now I'm really confident in my ability to do it. So you can get there too. And with Garnet, Ignite Your Passion, this is telling you to really follow what you're passionate about. If you're like, oh my gosh, Kloee, these are my placements, but I don't really understand my North Node and South Node and what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Just follow what you're passionate about. What if I told you that that was your only purpose in this life, was to follow what you're passionate about? Do something with what you're passionate about. You have passion about certain things for a reason. And lastly, we're going to get you some words of guidance from Spirit. Spirit, can you give us some words of guidance, some words of affirmation, just some words to kind of help guide us a little bit more today in this reading? We're going to go ahead and see. We have hidden depths. That you only see the surface, look beyond. So I'm telling you, many of you need to really work on that inner child work, things from the past resurfacing. We also have transformation, raise above any situation and become the best version of you. So I feel like this also talks about overcoming fear, rise to that occasion, rise to that fear. And then we also have for you, move, a rolling stone gathers no moss. So I feel like this could be literally, some of you maybe are about to actually move, like you've had a dream of moving somewhere and you're going to be moving, signing a contract. This also could just be moving your body, practicing more yoga flow, actually getting out there and working, like going for a run, going for a walk. Or just moving your mind, doing something that challenges your mind a little bit more. So Spirit is saying no more playing small with yourself and holding yourself back. Move. And that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I hope this reading was helpful. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And know that I link all the cards down below if you want to get any of them for yourself. And if you feel called to do so, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for readings, but again, if you don't feel called to do so, that is a-okay. And please do not forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and also my podcast that comes out every Tuesday morning. Everything is linked down below for you, and I will catch you on a future video. Bye. All right, pile number 4. Welcome into your reading. We're going to go ahead and just shuffle these Moonchild cards really quick. I decided to share a little bit of the process with you today because I recently had received a comment of somebody saying that they were like, I find it hard to believe basically that I always say, like, I don't read the cards before dealing them out, basically. Like, I don't pre-look at them before reading your tarot, even though I sort them into piles. And somebody was saying they found that hard to believe because they didn't see me shuffle. And I didn't take any offense to it. Curious minds want to know. So I just decided, you know what? In some of the videos, I would kind of like to share the process of shuffling a little bit more. So let me know if you like the shuffling down below or not. So we're just going to go ahead and see what we got. So we have for you the Fool. Love it. Beautiful imagery. The Three of Wands. The Temperance card. I love Temperance. She's a queen. And the Ace of Wands. Beautiful. Okay. So for you, pile number 4, I feel like what your guides and what Spirit really wanted to convey to you right off the bat is bringing more balance into your life and saying no to more things that don't really make you happy. And I say that because with this, with the Fool card, I know normally the Fool is all about like going into like new projects and not really thinking about the consequences and just going for it. But I find this Fool in this particular deck to be so lovely, beautiful, and interesting because we have this woman kind of cowering her face down and running down these stairs towards this wolf, which to me represents like the primal brain, primal instinct, and going back to basics. And I feel like ultimately this might be what you're being called to do, to bring more balance into your life that brings more of the basics back. So bringing back more of a sense of comfort, bringing back more, like just little things, getting more water in your life, more movement into your life, more nature into your life if the weather is good enough for you to do so. If you are able to honestly, like work on even like your sleep patterns if they've kind of been erratic or all over the place. It's bringing back this balance into your life that has really been missing, because temperance to me is all about bringing in balance and beauty in balance and taking your time and moving slower in life, where we have this like contradictory energy of the Fool that kind of just wants to not think and just move. So to me, Spirit is saying to actually let that energy kind of take a back seat and bring yourself more into equilibrium. This can also be like balancing the chakras, which we've talked a lot about today in other readings as well. And also balancing the masculine and feminine energies that we all harbor. So with the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands, I feel like when you do this, when you start to bring more balance into your life, you are actually going to be able to co-create a better life for yourself, because the Three of Wands is all about having a grand vision and seeing it come into fruition, having the support behind you, because we do have these two women being depicted, or these two divine feminine figures being depicted, with the moon in the background and like this beautiful sunset, or it could be a sunrise as well. Or moonset rather. It's the moon, but it's like depicted like a sunrise or a sunset, which is kind of cool. But to me, this is all about like looking at your grand vision. And then the Ace of Wands is a divine creation. So like basically all aces are gifts from the divine, but it's like your work isn't really done. You have to decide what you're going to do with that gift. So this to me could be something divinely creative. This also, I do want to throw it out there that the Ace of Wands is also like, I don't know how to say this without getting demonetized, but it's like the dick card in astrology. So like it could just be that too for some of you, if you know what I'm saying. But the Ace of Wands to me in this situation really is more about having a grand vision for yourself and then having the power to bring that grand vision into fruition. But you kind of have to get right with yourself before these things can happen, because these kind of tell a story almost in chronological order here. It's like something new is definitely coming, especially as we move through Pisces season, which is the end of the zodiac year, and then we'll be in Aries season, which is the beginning of the zodiac year in April. So I feel like you're kind of looking at what the vision is, and then you're going to get to work on creating it. So this is really beautiful, actually. I love this. I think this is such a divinely beautiful message for you. Spirit is really telling you that you maybe have already felt kind of hinted and called towards bringing more of that into your life. Like maybe it's very foundational for you right now. You're working on your foundations, but once you do that, that's going to unlock the next chapter of the book that is your life. So, really don't hesitate to kind of restore balance for you. So we're going to go ahead and pull a few cards from the Lumen Oracle and see what that has in store for us. Also, before we pull these, I do want to say the Three of Wands is also about reward in some way. Like you might also be getting a reward. Some of you, there's just a little message there. Spirit really wanted to convey with both of these cards that there might be a reward coming your way of some kind, something that maybe you've worked for a little bit. It's coming. And I say that because the Three of Wands is a lot about like putting a plan in motion and then watching that return of that plan. So just be advised. So we also have for you the Pillar. We're going to have to look at the book for this one because I'm not actually sure what that means. And we also have for you Paradox. Ooh, okay. We're actually going to look at both of these cards. This deck is also kind of new to our channel, so I apologize. I do not have every single card memorized yet. We're still working through it, but oh gosh, they're so pretty though. And I love the meanings behind them. They're just absolutely stunning, 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 stunning. And I also really apologize if you hear my neighbor's dogs barking. I cannot wait to move from this house, to be honest. Like, I can't wait till this Pisces new moon is upon us because, girl, I am manifesting a new house. It's my fourth house. It is going to be the time to manifest a new house for me. She is ready to get out of this situation. I shouldn't say situation. That makes it sound like it's a lot worse than it is, but I'm just ready for something different. Okay, so the pillar. The pillar signifies a need to rise to the occasion. It indicates a time where we may not need to be all things, the backbone, the nurturer, the provider, the lover. The pillar asks you to we may need to be all things, not. The pillar asks you to step into these roles as best you can, knowing that you are being pushed outside of your comfort zone. You will learn just how capable you are. So I really feel like with the pillar card, especially over top of these balancing cards, this to me says that you need to come to a better place of balance because you are a structure. You maybe are like a fixture in a family. Some of you might be mothers, fathers, supportive to like younger generations or even to older generations. You know, you are somebody that is a supportive structure. And no matter what kind of role you play in a family dynamic, in a friendship dynamic, basically, I feel like somebody in your life needs you. And so you got to get right with yourself so you can be that supporting person. And maybe also you might be being sent a supportive person as well. If you feel really unsupported, your support is coming. And with paradox, this is about, this card is a reminder that we can hold two extremes at the same time. Sometimes we focus on things, whether internal or external, and we see them as one-sided. But to hold the paradox within us requires strength. To see our most brilliant qualities and our most ugly, to acknowledge that they both live within us is the gateway to growth. Carl Jung said, "The paradox is one of the most valuable spiritual possessions, and for anyone who does shadow work, they know this to be true. But this can also be difficult for many people. If we have been raised in a rigid environment where things were viewed as black and white, it may be hard for us to accept our flaws, let alone love them." One of the best ways to slowly enter a relationship with our internal paradox is to remind ourselves that we did not create these things within us. We inherited them. It does not define us, and yet we are responsible for it. To work more deeply with paradox as you witness yourself throughout the day, identify what types of thoughts you have more of, positive or negative. From there, find the polar extreme. For example, you may have thought, "I am so effing lazy." Acknowledge a couple things that make that true. Then find the polar opposite, i.e. hard work, and acknowledge a few things to the extreme that prove that you are hardworking. So, wow. I feel like as you really work to kind of balance yourself, you're going to become stronger too. I think the pillar is also about you becoming stronger and holding these extremes, the paradox card, holding these extremes and allowing yourself to make space for the intricate person that you are and the intricate people that surround you. You know, I feel that so often we think we have to fight for this cause or fight for that cause or be on this side or be on that side. And you're somebody that you maybe feel inherently that we all are worthy of divine love no matter where we come from. And you're somebody that is able to make room for that complexity. I want to say it was pile number 1 that also talked a lot about complexity in their reading and making room for it. So maybe go back and watch pile number 1 if you're watching this one. But with paradox, like paradoxes are so confusing that way. We even talked about paradoxes in another reading. I want to say in pile number 2, we also talked about paradoxes. So being able to hold a paradox is complicated in and of itself because you make room for the complexity of both extremes and kind of find an equilibrium in the middle. So good on you. We love to see the growth. I'm proud. And I love that for you. I think that's something that is maybe in the coming time for you. Maybe you've been holding a lot of paradoxes and you're feeling a lot more confused, but as you kind of ground yourself, I'm really getting a sense of grounding with that pillar and like earth energy too. As you kind of get clear on that, you'll become more clear on this too. So love it. We're going to go ahead and get some astrology cards in here for you. See what we got in the astrals. All right. Oh, we're going to take that one because she kind of popped out. We got 5, the 5th house, which is passion. We have conjunction, empowerment. And we also have Uranus, the revolution. Ooh, I love it. Okay, so the 5th house, this is all about like the creativity, the passion. I feel like the 5th house is like the fun house in astrology. So I feel like ultimately, as you kind of do this work, expect it to be fun. Expect yourself to get reignited. That's really what's coming. And Spirit wants you to know that as you journey, this is going to be a fun journey. And not to be afraid of it, because it is going to be more fun. It's going to be a little more unpredictable, ooh, a little mysterious. And I say that because Uranus, to me, even though it is the revolution planet, it is the unpredictability planet. It's the one where things just pop up out of nowhere and you can't really predict what it's doing all the time. So I love that. And then with conjunction empowerment, we have, this is all about like basically a conjoining or something that is an allies. It's like in an allyship with something else. So I feel like you are someone that you potentially are meant to bridge something in your life in a way that no one has done it. Like for myself, let me give you a very simple example. I don't believe I am the first person to do this at all. I think many, 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 many teachers before me have done this very same thing. But something that I always say that I believe helps set my channel apart from others that I think is a little bit more special to my channel. And again, I'm not trying to tell you that I don't think other people have this capability, because they do. But I believe that what makes me a little bit different in the tarot community is that I tend to take a psychological and a spiritual perspective, because those are the areas of interest that I harbor, that I'm very passionate about. I bridge that gap between logic and spiritual, or science and spiritual. And that's something that I know a lot of people have a hard time doing. So, you know, think about this conjunction card that way for you. What are 2 things that you can bring together? It doesn't have to mean they're opposite forces. They can be similar, and they're coming together to make something even greater. So I feel like that's really what you're doing with balancing yourself, different aspects of you, different paradoxes. You're bringing 2 aspects of you together to create something new. And it's going to be fun and exciting and unpredictable. And I'm excited for your journey. Like, I'm smiling. This is beautiful energy that you're stepping into, and Spirit wants you to get excited about it. And, we're also going to pull a few crystal cards for you, just a few crystal wisdom cards, if you will. I don't know what that accent was. And we're just going to see what maybe some crystals you want to keep around you that are going to be a little bit more helpful. Or just like some words of wisdom as well. So we have black kyanite. Set strong boundaries. Ooh, I like that. And then we also have adventurine, which is create your own luck. So with kyanites, and I don't know how it is where you live, it might be different. Where I live personally, kyanite is very inexpensive. So if you're looking for it, I don't know if you're in my area, but kyanite I always find to be more on the less expensive side if you're looking. But you know what? Just like call it in, manifest it in. Ask your guides for these if you feel really pulled to them, if you don't already own them. But black kyanite with set strong boundaries, this crystal will help you to do that. And maybe that's the balancing that needs to happen, to be honest. Like the balancing in your life might be setting more boundaries with people. Even though you love people, you want them to be a part of your life, some things just you need to have harder boundaries on. And I believe that a lot of people in this day and age have not been raised with knowing how to set appropriate boundaries, and we're having to learn this as a collective. You know, I hear it a lot more coming up, and it's gone like a lot of that psychological advice has gone more mainstream, and people are a lot more aware of boundaries. But actually putting that into practice in your life, I think, is going to make this process a lot easier for you. It's almost like it's going to get hard before it gets easy and fun. And then create your own luck. This is calling you to be creative, to be grand with your visions, especially with that 3 of Wands and the Ace of Wands. You're being called to get creative, because creating your own luck, you literally have the word create in here. and creating your desired reality, bringing something into fruition and knowing that whatever you want it to be, it can be. So like, I think that's something that a lot of people that teach manifestation forget about is there's like this common thing of like, oh, if you're not receiving it, that means it's not meant for you. And that's actually not how manifestation works. You can manifest literally anything you want to into your life. It's that you can manifest anything you want to. It's that you have to basically just set that intention. And even if that thing isn't quote unquote meant for you, you can still manifest it, because within that there is a lesson. You will learn why maybe it wasn't the best thing for you, and then you'll get back to where you were headed, if that makes more sense. Like, you literally can manifest anything, even if it's not meant for you. It's always meant for you. If it is desired for you, no, I'm sorry. If it is desired by you, it is destined for you. I love that mantra. It's one of my personal favorites. So, don't feel like you can't have something just because it seems like something you shouldn't want. And obviously within reason, there are things that we definitely should not want. I'm not going to get specific with that, but be reasonable, but, just, you can truly set intention for anything you want to. Don't hold back because you've been taught you have to be a certain way, have to live or receive a certain way. And we're going to go ahead and just get a few final words of wisdom from these word cards. Spirit, give us 3 words that we can kind of give us a little more guidance in this situation and what we're moving into in this chapter. Give us 3 words. All right. So we got weed. Don't tolerate less than you deserve. So that even goes hand in hand with this boundaries card. Don't tolerate less than you deserve. You know what you deserve, and don't tolerate less. We also have surprises. Venture down the rabbit hole. Oh my God, I love this. So especially if those of you are going into like business or creating a new business adventure, I always find a couple of things. Number one, if there's something that you feel like needs solving more in the world, go down that rabbit hole, because that should be like a big question for your own business is, what problem do you feel like people have that you can solve? Go down the rabbit hole. And the second thing is, if there's something you don't understand or you like take a lot of issue with, I think it is so important, especially on the line of paradoxes, to look into it. For example, and this is not me saying that you need to go vegan. Every time I say the V word, I get so many hate comments, even though I would never tell someone to eat the way that I eat. I don't care how people eat. It's whatever. I really don't. But for example, when I went vegan personally, I'm just giving you a personal account. I'm not telling you what to do with your body. I want to make that very clear. For me, when I went vegan, I only started researching veganism because I wanted to prove it wrong. I was like, this is ridiculous. These vegans are out here being crazy, and look at how they are. And I was just so judgmental. And granted, there are a lot of really preachy, judgmental vegans too out there. I am not one of those people, but I went down that rabbit hole because I wanted to prove it wrong. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I couldn't. And thus, lo and behold, I ended up being vegan because I went down the rabbit hole and I was like, no, I intended to find fault with this and I couldn't. So that was my experience. It can be anything in your life that you maybe find fault with that like really makes you feel a certain way. And you might still feel a certain way by the time you're done. But I feel like Spirit is really saying like, venture down those rabbit holes that you don't understand and you might come out surprised. And we also have share. The busy bee should still make time for each flower. So this is about finding yourself through these experiences and then sharing your knowledge with other people. So that's beautiful. What a beautiful message. You're going to come across this new information, be able to use it in your life in a new way, and become so crystal clear on it that you're going to be able to bring it back and share it with other people. So good for you. I love this for you. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And don't forget to follow me on TikTok, on Instagram. I have both those linked down below, as well as my podcast. All the cards you see here today are linked down below in the order they appear. And if you choose to do so and you feel called to, I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. It is never expected, but always appreciated. If you want to support the channel, please feel free to do so. Again, not an expectation, but if you feel called. And that's what I got for you, pile number 4. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I love you so much, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye. All right, my beautiful pile number 5s, last but certainly not least, let's go ahead and get the cards all shuffled up for you. I decided to add shuffling in this time because I received a comment I always say that I don't read through the card piles before I read the tarot. And somebody said that they found that hard to believe, basically, because I don't show shuffling. And I did not take offense to that. I know that curious minds want to know. So I thought, what a good idea to actually show part of the process with you. So we're shuffling a little today. Let me know down below if you like the shuffling or if you prefer just the card piles. And I think it's nice to kind of have a mix on the channel, but I want to know what you all think, so let me know. And let's go ahead and see what we got. So we have for you the Queen of Cups. Ooh la la. We have for you the King of Wands. Okay, all right. We'll take that divine wisdom. We have Strength. And we also have the Two of Pentacles. Interesting. The plot thickens. Okay, so the King and the Queen, I know they're from different suits because we have the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands. So I feel that many of you might be looking to attract a relationship or deepen a relationship that you already have. And I say that because with a king and a queen, looking at them coming together, I don't know why, but I instantly got this pull of attraction. And I'm really not sure why that came out, but I'm wondering if those of you that chose this pile were curious about a romantic relationship, because either I'm feeling that many of you feel like you're more the Queen of Cups and they represent the King of Wands, but it could also be flipped. I'm feeling like many of you are maybe feeling that you're lacking a sense of more emotional depth in this connection, or there's a lack of sensuality. And I say that because I feel like the Queen of Cups is very emotional depth. The King of Wands is very sensuality. And I only say that because we got it paired with the Strength card. And Strength, this is about having inner strength. This is also a card that really corresponds to Leo. And Leo energy is very confident energy. It's very boisterous, big, confident energy. So I feel that many of you maybe haven't felt as tapped into that energy. Maybe you felt more tapped into your intuitive, emotional side, and you're kind of building strength in that way. But in terms of a relationship, we also have the Two of Pentacles, which talks a lot about balance. That's funny. Our last reading, pile number 4, talked a lot about balance. But I feel that maybe there's been some financial something going on, and Spirit wants you to know that if you hold on to your strength through whatever is happening, whether you are single and looking for a relationship or there's been a little bit of relationship upsets, just really hold on to your own inner strength and your own confidence through this. Don't be so confident that you become prideful. There's a difference, but balance that confidence, and also know that some of you also might be entering into partnerships that are very in balance with each other, or there's this beautiful balance of divine feminine and masculine going on within you, this power to intuit, but this power to create at the same time. So this is a very intricate reading. I feel like this one right off the bat tells a very big story of intricacy. We also have the sun being depicted behind here on the Strength card. And I feel ultimately the sun really does talk a lot about masculinity as well. To me, the sun is very masculine. The moon is very feminine. And so I feel like this is kind of getting into that ferocious, not in a bad way, this ferociously confident, Some of you, I'm also hearing like you need to get your hair done. And I'm not saying that as like a drag, like, oh my gosh, your hair looks crazy. No, I'm hearing that like some of you just need to get your hair done or do something different with your hair because it's going to boost your confidence. I know that was a very specific message, but for some of you, I really feel like maybe you haven't been feeling very confident, and that is something that is going to give you more confidence. So make that hair appointment, boo, or do something at home with your hair, change it up a little, style it differently. It's really going to help. And let's go ahead and get a few more cards. I feel like I want to know more to this story. So we also have the Lumen Oracle that we're going to be drawing from today. And I always link all the cards that we use in these readings down below for you in the order that they appear. So if you're looking for any of these, be sure to check that out. All right, we have for you compassion, beautiful energy. And we have for you ancestors, beautiful. Okay, so with compassion, I find this really interesting that this is coming out on the side with the Queen of Cups, because the Queen of Cups to me is somebody who is deeply compassionate. Deeply, somebody that has the ability to really empathize with other people, but has their own inner strength to kind of keep how they're feeling separate, I guess you could say, like keep how they're feeling very separate and still have empathy for others, meaning like they don't draw in everybody else's problems. They're able to keep good emotional boundaries. So I feel like maybe this represents you. You need to kind of work on honing your own inner strength, especially if you're highly empathic, honing your inner strength, allowing yourself to be compassionate towards others and empathetic towards others, but don't get lost in their problems. Like you can be there to hold support, hold space, but know at the end of the day, what they're dealing with is theirs, and you can be empathetic and sympathetic, but it's not yours to hold. Have that strength to know that. And over here, when we have ancestors, this could also be a call to just get more in connection with your ancestry, your family history, maybe even grandparents with this Queen and King here. Get more in contact with like your ancestors. So they could be your spirit guides. I almost want to pull for your pile specifically just a couple more cards. Is there a guide that we can kind of bring this to? Is there a guide that wants to come through? Six of Wands. I feel like with this Six of Wands, just because of the imagery on the card alone, number one, I'm hearing the name Rose. So if any of you have like a past relative with that name Rose, or like that was a nickname that they had, definitely try to light a candle for them. Like I'm also hearing like they want a candle from you. This also could be a set of twins. Maybe there was like twin ancestors in your family line somewhere that are wanting to connect with you, because there's two identical females being represented here. But I do feel like there is some ancestral line that is trying to make a connection. Now, obviously that's going to be very specific for someone, but I just wanted to see, and that card really wanted to come out. So definitely look at that in your family history if you have the ability to, and see if something like that exists, because I feel like they're trying to make a connection with you. They want you to light a candle for them. And remember also, when you work with ancestors, if you decide to do that, work with ancestry, remember that sometimes your ancestors, they have their best interests at heart. You do sometimes have to have boundaries with your own ancestry. Like they have ideas of how they want you to run your life, but you also have your own ideas of how you want to run your life. So just be aware of that. I say that with the most love and grace possibly available to you. So just take that for, if that was really calling to you, then definitely go into that. But I'm also wondering if it was like boy girl twins, because of this dynamic for some reason is like really important in this reading. I don't know why. I keep really feeling drawn back to it. So like I said, could be like a couple in ancestry, twins in ancestry, or something to that effect. But working with your ancestors is going to be really important. I feel like your spirit guides, their urgent message for you is that they want a deeper level and a deeper connection with you. Especially with compassion and the Queen of Cups coming out. They want, like, gosh, even this like 2. Do you see this? There's also like a set of identical. Those twins are really coming through strong. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I know that message is for somebody very specific. Okay. Some of y'all, somebody out there really needed to hear that specifically. I feel like that doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes very specific channeled messages will come. So with this King and Queen and the compassion, the ancestry, strength, to the 2 of Pentacles, I really feel that you are also being called to really honor that divine masculine, that divine feminine, balance it out, and, you know, pay attention to your lineage. Maybe even asking like a parent or a grandparent, you can call them, you know, ask them about their childhood, ask them what they were like, ask them what their experiences were like, because this is information that something about it. There's something that you need to know from someone. You're being called to learn more. So we're going to go ahead and pull some astrology cards and see. Ooh. Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. Gemini. Okay. Those of you that aren't astrology buffs, you may not know, but why can't I get that straight? There we go. You may not know, but Gemini also is represented by the twins. Like that's the symbol. And you saw how that card flipped out just now. So something about twins is coming very strong. I don't know. Like I just got the chills. I also like this again doesn't happen very often, but I also feel like a presence with me. Like here, I'm not necessarily a medium. Like I don't see spirits or anything or talk to them that way, but there's definitely a presence here that's making itself known. It's not like bad. It's not scary. It's just somebody is really wanting a connection with you. And I feel like it has to do with twins. They also could have been a Gemini, or maybe this is also a long lost twin, like of yours. Maybe you are a twin or you come from a line of twins. I don't know why twins are coming through so strong, but they are. So let's pull 2 more of these. We also have Venus, love. So there's that romantic connection again. And the 9th house. So the 9th house to me is all about like higher wisdom and connecting with higher wisdom. So I feel like right now Spirit is urging you to learn more about higher knowledge, learn more. This can be like just higher education, school, things like that. It can also be more on the line of spiritual knowledge, depending on what you consider to be higher learning. But it is definitely some form of higher education. And maybe there is a specific path that you're feeling called to in higher education. Maybe it's a degree you want to go after. I feel that there's definitely an ancestor or somebody that has a message for you about that. There's also with this Venus card, I'm also hearing that some of you like that are coupled that are wanting kids, there might be like twins that are trying to come through, because that is also a thing. I don't know everything about this. I'm not a parent, nor do I necessarily want to be. But when it comes to children, you actually can. There's a book called Spirit Babies, and you actually can like lay out the contract before you bring children in. Like you can kind of like set the boundaries of the contract for the child. Like you can negotiate things for their life basically before they come in. And so I feel like some of you, if you're like looking to have children in a committed relationship or without, I fully support any kind of parent that you want to be. I do feel like maybe there's something to be said about that. That might be the knowledge that you want to look into. There might be twins. Like if some of you are looking to have children, twins might be something that is going to be coming. And it could like, I know we're getting so esoteric right now. I don't know why I'm getting all nervous about it. I feel like sometimes I say these things and people are like, this lady is nuts. But I'm also feeling like for some of you, that like you maybe want to consider calling in twins because that's what's trying to happen. Like, I don't know why that's coming in so strongly, but it is. So, let's see. Also with Gemini, something to remind yourself is Gemini also is ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mercury is all about our communications. So with communication, it also could be, again, communicating with that ancestral line. Oh, that's what I was going to say, and I lost it. I'm glad it came back to me. I knew it would. With communicating, there also could be like reincarnated twins that are trying to come back in. So that's another thing I'm hearing. Like it could also be about like reincarnation. So, because I personally do believe in reincarnation, but I know not everybody does. So just if you do, take that for what it is. But yeah, I'm hearing that as well. Like there are maybe like twins from the past, like something with twins, yo. It's for somebody that's going to make a whole of a lot of sense, I promise. But anyways, back to Mercury. Mercury is all about that planet of communication. So there might be something like maybe you want to write something about like extended knowledge, or you want to do like more speaking, do more communicating about it. There's something definitely with like writing and speaking in terms of this like higher learning, getting a higher education so you can do more of it. And like doing what you love is also coming through for you, pile number 5. So something about doing what you love. So if you love any of those things, definitely like ask your ancestors for a sign on where you should be going if you're confused. Like I said, something to remember is that your ancestors have their own will, like not their own will, but their own wishes for your life. And you have to be able to differentiate what's theirs and what's yours and feel confident in that. So I think that's also why like strength and confidence is coming through. Like don't necessarily get into that kind of practice with communicating that way unless you feel really confident in your ability to have appropriate boundaries, I would say. So let's go ahead and get a couple of crystal cards for you and see what's coming out. So we have Moonstone, live your purpose. Love it. Beautiful, beautiful message. And we have Agate, get back into balance. So again, with the balance, you definitely should listen to pile number 4 if you felt called to it at all when you were selecting a card pile, because that one was all about balance, but getting back into your own divine balance, masculine and feminine, and really getting in touch with what your purpose is. I feel like many of you might be looking into getting like an extended degree on something, going to school because it's part of your purpose. So these 2 crystals may help you on your path, might help you find that on your path. So if you have them in your repertoire of crystal collections, if you have one, definitely pull those babies out and keep them next to you. If you don't, ask your spirit team if they can bring some in for you, or know a place where you can pick it up. Definitely grab some. So last but certainly not least, Spirit, please give us a few words that we can help to intuit this reading a little bit better from you. Give us a couple of words. Let's see. All right. So we have breathe, slow down and contemplate the tea, violets and ivy tangled around the eaves. So, take time to make these choices very deliberately, whatever you decide to do, be it the going back into school, getting into a relationship with somebody, contacting your ancestors, working with that. Take time to breathe and really weigh out your options. We also have for you relax, delight in powdered gold sunshine. So this is just a call also to get more sun. We also have that sun depicted up here in the strength card. Get more sun if you're able to. If the sun is out where you live, try just getting a few minutes a day on your skin. It really helps you to kind of absorb that and, take in that beautiful solar energy. And lastly, we have present. Journey into the garden to escape the 2 oh my gosh, I cannot read. To escape the two eternities, the past and the future. So basically, get into the present moment. Be present with yourself. I'm so sorry. There's a siren going by. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to manifest a new home in the next year. I'm moving out of this house. I feel like it is so loud where I live, and girl, I am just ready for some peace and quiet. But getting back into the present moment is also going to really help you with all of this. Being mindful, being conscious. There's an exercise that I challenge myself to do daily where I engage all of my senses. So I will ask myself, what is 3 things I can smell? 3 things I can taste if it applies? 3 things I can see? 3 things I can feel? And what's the other one? Whatever the other one is that I'm missing. See, taste, feel... See, taste, touch, smell. I'm missing one. Anyways, that's beside the point. I'm sure you're remembering what it is, and everybody's probably going to shout it at me in the comments, which is fine. I love y'all for that, because maybe somebody else out there is also forgetting. But, stop and take a moment to do those things, to, even if it's just like a 1-minute exercise, become really stable in the present moment. And that is what I have for you, pile number 5. I hope this reading was helpful, even if it was the whole reading, 1 card, a group of cards. I hope this was helpful. And those of you that are looking to get in contact with that ancestor, or those twins, or calling in twins, I hope that you're able to do so, and that it feels correct for you, because like I said, I definitely felt that presence too. But I love you all so much. Please remember, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out the description box for all of these cards. I also link my TikTok, my Instagram, and my podcast, available on 8 different platforms. All of that down below. And if you feel called to do so, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. If you'd like to tip me for my readings and support the channel, it is always appreciated, but again, never expected. And I love you all so much. Have a wonderful week, and I will speak to you again next week.